Real quick, before we get started on the video, something really funny happened with the owner of this car's son. Keep in mind, this kid's like 21, 22 years old. Just
It's from Fast and Furious, isn't it?
Okay.
All right, I don't know which one though. I don't know which one.
So ejectocito is one of the buttons on
It
here.
was one of the things. I don't know what
This
movie. I don't know what movie.
Gen Z or whatever he is
All right.
doesn't know what movie ejectocito is from.
All right. Which one?
Really?
What is it?
You genuinely? He's driving around in this rice
Oh,
box.
I swear to God, I don't know which one. What is it?
It's 2.
The second
Too
one?
Fast, Too
I
Furious.
knew it was one of them, all right?
Who
I didn't
says
know
it?
Which one? I have no clue.
Who says it?
I got no clue.
Rome says it.
I got no clue.
Oh my God. So now that that's out of the way, car's not on lift anymore, clearly. Working on getting an air pocket out of the coolant hoses that go to the heater core. Got the wideband working, again, a Haltech thing. Replaced the O2 sensor and was still getting an error code. Well, for some reason with this specific sensor, you have to do an air calibration, which I haven't done since like an AEM wideband gauge in like 2009. Like, I guess that's a thing still. So did that, that's working. The idle tune is good. Working right now on trying to bleed this clutch, because once the clutch is bled and the coolant stuff's clean, this thing's ready to start driving. Well, we have to bleed the brakes, but you know, details. But I'm having a problem where I'm not getting any clutch fluid out. Pedal's completely dead. I tried putting suction onto it, which this is a style clutch where you can do that. It uses like a regular brake bleeder. And I'm not getting anything coming out of here. So that's what I'm currently trying to figure out. This car just doesn't want to drive, man. It's fighting me the whole way. All right, figured out the issue on that. So this is a 350Z clutch master that the owner put in, and I had a feeling it wasn't throwing back the rod far enough, just because no fluid coming through even under vacuum means that there's an obstruction somewhere in the master cylinder. I think it's brand new. So I took the pan out and let the master cylinder push back as far as it could, and immediately I started getting fluid flow. You can see the fluid levels going down. I have just gravity bleeding right now. So that was the issue with that. So we'll just have to figure out a solution for that problem. But now we can bleed it. All right, so I've been at it for about an hour. So the issue I was having before is the fluid wasn't entering it. So what I did was I went in and I adjusted the adjustment rod so that now it pulls back far enough where it pulls fluid in. But by doing that, now when you press it, it doesn't actually fully go through the master cylinder to push enough fluid to move the slave. So if you adjust it the other way, it would probably work, but now you can't get fluid in it. So essentially the 350Z rod is probably ever so slightly, or I should say the piston in here is probably ever so slightly shorter or longer than the 300ZX one. So, and they compensate for that in the 350Z with the amount of pedal throw. I'm not gonna do the geometry out, but if you get the idea, it's a triangle thing. So the customer who owns this thing is going to be bringing back the 300ZX master cylinder so that we can do that. Once that's in, now that we have a functioning wideband, which was fun, we have a functioning wideband, and I have this almost completely bled out. This thing's pretty much gonna be ready to drive. I just have to hook up the rest of the sensors, which will be a tomorrow afternoon project or Monday project. I do have a juke getting dropped off from Pennsylvania on Monday, so I don't know exactly how much work I'm gonna get on this thing. But yeah, so that's kind of how today went. It's days like this where it's like, geez, you know, you spend hours and hours on something trying to get it to work and it doesn't, and you just feel like you didn't really accomplish a whole lot. It's that kind of day kind of sucks, but it kind of is what it is. On another note, ignore my Coke collection. It's been a busy week. I do have some information coming on some products that we're going to be starting to sell, and This right here is a jig that I made this morning for a 350Z VQ35HR crank trigger bracket. And at some point next week, I have to do the one for the DE engine. I'm going to start to sell trigger kits for these so that these can be used with like a Haltech. I mean, not a Haltech, sorry, a Fuel Tech, where Fuel Tech doesn't have the trigger pattern for these. You have to put a trigger wheel on it, and they don't really have anything on the market for that. So we're going to be making trigger kits for these. I have the trigger kits for the MR engines, all MR engines. So we'll add the two VQ35s to that. And then I mentioned this in the last video, I think. I'm really thinking about making like a mounts, like the subframe spacer kit to install the 35 into a 300ZX. It'd be really easy to make the kit. I just have to have the aluminum pieces cut somewhere else because I just wouldn't be able to cut them in an economical way here. But it would be really, really straightforward. It would come with the mount, the subframe spacer, sway bar spacer. I might even make a production transmission mount, which this car has one that I just whipped together in an afternoon. I might even make a actual transmission mount. And it's a pretty straightforward thing. I'm not going to get involved with radiator hoses and things like that, because if people want to do different setups, you know, they can do radiator hoses. That's pretty easy to figure out. Same thing with intake manifolds. If they want to do a different intake manifold, then, you know, that's on them. This intake manifold just makes it so the hood can close without any trimming. On the factory intake manifold, which sits like 3/4 of an inch higher, I think it is, the hood doesn't close. So, but yeah, some food for thought. But it's been a day.
Like and subscribe.